Hey everybody, so this is part two to my Ultimate Printer workstation, and as you can see I've made a few changes. So the first one I'll do, and I'll get to it in a minute, is I added this drawer here. That was the biggest thing. Also added another rack of storage. So right now the way I kind of have it specified is, or classified, got PLA at the bottom, PETG at the top, and then some empty spools. That's just kind of keep things kind of clean. Underneath, I have all the storage still there for the unopened stuff. I've got my filament dryer ready to go, got a power strip under there, and sorry, a new project coming up there we'll talk about here soon. So let's take a look at the drawer. So this has worked out perfectly. We'll get into the build video of this later, but I just want to kind of get everybody a kind of an overview of what I ended up with, and that way if you don't care about the build, you don't care. You don't have to see it. So anyway, so here's all the tools that I have and some accessories. I had a bunch of screws and other related things that were for small parts, say M2 to M4, and I had them in my garage. I really am never going to use them out there. It's always going to be something small, like these heat inserts are all going to be probably related to the production of something 3D printed. So I decided to move all this stuff in here so it would be in one place. I've got all kinds of accessories and stuff like that through here. I also had a bunch of small screwdrivers that I just kind of, in all honesty, stuck in the back here because I don't have any other place to put them. I might move them to my tertiary storage out in the garage, but right now they do occasionally come in handy. But other than that, it's just a bunch of parts and accessories for my 3D printer. It's worked out well. Again, I have one drawer. I debated using two drawers, and I really like the one, to be quite honest. So that's it. So the last thing to show you, and something that I am going to change, it was not worth it, is the lighting. Yeah, there you go. So if I was getting ready and, you know, a movie star and stuff, this would be perfect, but this is not perfect. That is utterly blinding, which I'm going to try and fix with some of these 3D printed little 45-degree angle things I saw on Jet Li's channel. So here's why I ended up with this thing, and it looks crappy. So I already had the rope lights. So I'm like, okay, I'll just take the rope lights and I'll just put these borders around. Well, here are the borders. They're aluminum. I bought two different kinds. I bought a triangular kind, and that didn't exactly work out like I thought, so I just bought some regular ones. Again, this is all in my face, and this is not bright. That's all. Oh, sorry, wrong one. So that's all the way up. That's kind of all the way down. So I kind of keep it maybe a little bit in the middle. It mostly works great. It does illuminate everything, but really and truly, what I need is something right here facing that way, like down and toward the things, strictly because pointing it at my face is not doing any good at all. So plus it's, again, kind of blinding, especially underneath. I can't see anything when I go down there. So I'm going to try and put these to angle the lights away from me toward the underneath. Right now they're just stuck to the actual shelf itself. So anyway, but other than that, yeah, I'm really pleased. You know, like with anything 3D printing, you print the stuff out like, oh, I should never need more than 2 racks. Yeah, so I'm probably end up going to print 1 or 2 more. If once I do that, I have to get a ladder or some kind of grabby thing to reach up and put them and pull them back and stuff like that. So that's worked out pretty well. So again, still working fine for me. I did move my AMS off the wall. I was getting binding and I couldn't figure it out. It had to do something with how the unit was being attached to the wall. It did something to bind, so I just went back to the overhead. This is a various, I can't remember which model for that. I'll put it in the description, but this is the model I went with. The only thing I don't like about this is if you have to work on the back 2 filament spools, it's really hard. And if I had another machine, that might make it really hard to get everything together without bouncing into each other. So I'm still kind of debating. I do want a secondary machine because a lot of times this is a 5-hour print. And it'd be nice to have another machine just to do quickies like prototypes, or hey, I'd like to see what this looks like type of thing. So, but anyway, but other than that, I'm really pleased with everything. And it again, for me, it is the perfect 3D printer workstation. Let's get into the build. Hey everybody, this is Mitch. So today we're going to continue on with my ultimate 3D printer workstation, and we're going to focus today on the drawer. So that's going to go underneath here. I have been debating on what exactly I'm going to do with this. I could either do 2 drawers or 1 drawer. I have equipment for everything, so that's really not a problem. I have enough material to make 2. I think I'm just going to go with 1 just for simplicity's sake and not make it the full width. Probably that's around, I can fit 36 inches comfortably in there. I think I'll do something like 32 inches wide roughly, and then about 20 inches deep or so. That won't cause any interference with the stuff in the back. But that's probably what I'll do. And again, I'm going to be using the Gridfinity system, which is, I've already got tons and tons of stuff printed up for that. So that's where we start. So let's head out to the garage and start cutting up some material. So as most things, start with the box. So this will be the actual drawer itself. So just taking some 1/2-inch Baltic Works plywood that I have and going to cut that down into our sides, and then run a groove through for the bottom, and we'll put it all together, and that will be our drawer. So here's the bottom panel. I'm just making this out of 1/4-inch MDF. So just cutting it to size, and that's going to be put into a groove that I'm putting into all 4 sides there. So getting that ready. So here I'm getting ready to cut the groove that will be put into the sides, the front and the back of the drawer to hold the 1/4-inch thick MDF that I'll be using for the bottom. So there is my 1/4-inch spacer block, and I'm just going to lower the blade down to where it will cut that deep. It is also the same width away from the fence, so I'm cutting it 1/4-inch deep, 1/4-inch in from the edge. At this point, all we're doing is just cutting the groove. I got my just some guide blocks to help keep the workpiece steady and press down in both places, because there's nothing worse than having your groove be different depth. It won't fit right. So this will be a multiple pass scenario. So what I'm doing is I'm running all the bores through once, then we'll knock the fence over just a little bit, and then we'll complete this process until continue this process until we have a groove that fits into the groove that fits the board into. And here I'm just testing out the Gridfinity grid, make sure that my measurements were okay. And once I have that, then I'll start to assemble the drawer. So just as I thought this was a wrap for the day, close up everything, move my footage, shut the bar, all that other good stuff that goes with it, I got to thinking, man, that drawer sure is deep. So I thought I would get some of my Gridfinity stuff and put in here and see if I actually work. Okay, so that's that's the general idea. That's exactly what Gridfinity is. I've got a grid. I've got boxes that fit the grid. They're different sizes, different depth, or different heights. Some are special. This is one for 2 hot ends for the A1. I'll print that just to see what it looked like. I don't know. I think so. Right now it's 3 1/4 inches tall from the floor of the drawer to the top. I don't know. I may end up cutting another inch off of that. What that would look like if I went to, yeah, if I cut half an inch off, or even an inch off, that might make it better, because I don't think I need this deep. Because when you make a deep drawer, all you do is you make deep piles. That's just the way the world works. So, because I don't think I'll ever have bins that are higher than that. Because again, some of these are stackable, like this. You can just stack like that, or this one, like that. I don't see them stacking 2 or 3 deep because you don't know what's underneath. So this is probably all I would probably really ever use. Yeah, let me concentrate on it tonight and then come back and, you know, again, nothing's put together, so this is all just dry fit. So if all else fails, I'll just cut, you know, half an inch to an inch off the top there, and then keep going like I had planned. Anyway, this just occurred to me, and while I was putting everything away, and I'm like, you know, let me go measure just one more time just to make sure. Yeah, I'm a kind of a stickler about seeing a plywood edge, so what we have here is edge banding, lots and lots of edge banding. If you did not know, you can buy half-inch edge banding. Most of the time it comes in 3/4 inch or it's bigger and smaller. So yeah, so I just bought a bunch of half-inch, and I cut it to size, ironed it on, and we are good to go. there are a couple of ways to trim edge banding. As you see here, I just have a chisel that I'm just cutting the ends off, and then I will use a tool to actually trim the edge. A lot of times I use the same chisel to trim the edge. It seems to work just as good. I haven't found one, a trimming tool that's perfect. I have 2 or 3 of them. They're all kind of about the same. So a lot of times I'll just take a chisel and just run it along the edge and cut off the access. But here we'll do a couple different things. We'll use the commercial tool, which is this blue thing. It's got blades on both sides if you've never done any edge banding, and it will cut both sides at once. And then you come back with, in my case, I'll use a chisel to kind of finalize it, make sure everything is flat. And then I just hit it with a piece of sandpaper to kind of round over the edge and get rid of any sharp pieces, because it is genuine wood that I'm using here. So here we are back with the box. So put everything together last night, got it glued together and it's all dry. So now let's talk about how we're actually going to attach it to the top. So I'm going to have drawer slides on each side, and those drawer slides are going to attach to a support piece that theoretically I'm going to use pocket screws to screw into the bottom of the top. So they'll go here like this, and then they'll just slide in and out, and then I'll have a drawer front. I made a cherry like everything else, so it all matches, and I'll round over all the edges and stuff and make it look pretty. But that's the idea. So this will be heavily pocket screwed to the top there, and then the drawer slides connect to that, and the drawer slides connect to the drawer, and then we should be able to just roll with it like this. So let me get everything put together and the top out here, and we'll see if it works out the way I have planned. Let's take a quick review. So got the top in, it's upside down. So this is the right-hand side. This is the left-hand side. I've put pencil marks where the rail that holds it up, where it lies. And then this is what it looked like. So again, I've got this will be bolted down here, and then the drawer slides will be bolted to that, and then to that. Here's the front. Now right now I have the front flush, but I'm gonna have some kind of handle on it, and I haven't figured that out yet. So what I might do is I might just push it back flush with that, make it level, and then that'll give me room for a handle where it won't hit me. Got my power supply, or my power strip, I'm going to put right there. Got a mark for where the power outlet is, so it's straight underneath. So I'll bolt that right there probably, and then run everything on that. I think 6 outlets is enough. If not, they make an 8, I'll just replace it. So I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to pocket hole these in again. They'll just go on the sides. And I think I'm going to have to do it on the outside. I don't think it really matters, but I'm going to have to do it on the outside because I'm worried that the internal screws for the slides will interfere. So we'll find out. Yep, so that is it right there. So getting closer. So we're ready to finally attach this to the drawer to the to the top, and let's go through what we're doing here. So I've already got the vertical pieces, and again, these are going to secure just like this. They've got pocket holes already drilled into them. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to put this drawer slide 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom of the top there. I'm just going to use this wooden spacer to give that, and that will let me get it. Let me use this other spacer, and that will get it exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to align the front over here so that it's level with everything else at the front. And that way everything will be lined, because I've got to take this apart in just a few minutes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get this all secured. Okay, so that's full. Okay, then I got to take out the door slide. I still don't have to take it out. I just need access to the holes. And I'm going to use these, and basically just going to put a mark where I'm going to put in the screw. I'll take that out. I'm going to go ahead while I'm here and take the door slide out. Okay. We'll find the holes. Just drill a quick pilot hole. This is maple, so it's kind of hard. Again. I think I'm off a little bit. Back those out. Oh, and by the way, this is the back, and it's kind of important you do this. I'm only telling these things because, well, that's I learned the hard way. So yes, a couple things you always remember is where you drill the pilot holes, that goes down, and this is the back. So you got to make sure your slide's pointed the right direction. And like I said, you can figure it out on your own why I know these things, but that's what happens. Then what we need to do is for the drawer slide itself, I am going to raise it up a bit. So this one was 3/4 or 19 mil up from the bottom. This is 1/2 inch. And basically what's happening is at the end, it's going to basically hold this up off from touching the actual the bottom of the top itself, because we don't want it rubbing against each other. So that's why I'm putting all these spaces in there. Okay, so for this one, secure that out of the way. And then I am just going to make sure I've got holes. I've already drilled for this. So basically I'm just drilling. Now, this is on 1/2 inch material, so I actually had to cut the head off of the screw, otherwise it will poke through the other side, and so we don't want that. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put this piece of plywood underneath to raise it up, because I need it to give me some space. slide this on, barely. Okay, so now we are all connected. So now all I really need to do is make sure everything is square. And I'll square that up and then I'll get these screwed in. So change out my drill bit real quick. My pocket hole bit. Make sure I'm square to the end. I'll put everything together. I'll be right back. So everything is connected, and here's my drawer front. Got a piece of 1/4 inch plywood underneath. I'm going to use that as a spacer to get it up off that. And to hold this into place until I can flip it over, I'm just going to put a brad nail or two. Yes, it seems kind of odd, but that's what I'm doing. And that'll hold it in place. I'm going to flip it over. Looks good to me. And the last thing that I have to do, since I am a perfectionist, is I'm going to cover up these pocket holes. And I'm going to do that with some handy dandy pocket hole covers that I found off of Maker World. Now, since it's hanging upside down, they are going to require a little bit of help. And they just go in them like that and just kind of fit in place. Most of the time, they'll be okay, but I'm going to go ahead and put a dab of glue on it just to keep them, and I'll do that for all of these. If necessary, I can just take them off later with a chisel or something, knife. Yes, they're underneath. Nobody's going to see them but me. But still, I like things to be all buttoned up and tight. It's the problem with being a perfectionist. Okay, I'll get the other side. And then we'll finish up the drawer. So I was having a really hard time getting my screw length correct, so what I did is I just got some washers and put on, and that spaced it out enough to where I could screw it in tight. So that's what all that commotion was about, is me trying to find a solution to it not having exactly the right length of screw. So here's the final stage. We are just gluing everything in place and holding it in. I'm not using CA accelerator until later on. That's just standard CA thick glue. So just putting it in place. It's a little bit too wide, as you can see, just by a couple millimeters. So that was acceptable. So I just decided to glue it in place. It'd be safer that way. And this is the last stage. So when I get done with this glue up, I'll let it dry for a bit, and then I put it into place and populated the Gridfinity boxes, and that's how we got to the end. Thanks. I appreciate you really hanging out for this journey. It's been a lot of fun.